descended from what the Bible was written with certain stories, and there's a lot of evidence saying that a lot of the stuff in the Bible was altered.
Sure.
From what originally happened.
Right.
But what to say anyway, John the Baptist and Jesus were actually teaching kind of a scientific way of going within and reaching what the Ashayas call the ascendant, which is the infinite consciousness that we are.
Right. Is it now? Does that tie into the idea of the collective consciousness, or is it simply spirit that lives in?
I mean, really, it's really a kind of a revolutionary idea that you can change the whole world. Did you turn it off?
It came on. Let me.
Went off.
Yeah. My bad. You can change the whole world. I'm listening. I'm sorry, dude.
It don't matter. I mean, if you just want to talk about it, you don't have to record it necessarily.
Oh, no. This is actually just the music. We're recording.
Oh, okay, cool.
It is just the tunes. I do tunes, I just enjoy it. You like music?
Uh-huh.
Excellent. Excellent. It. Awesome.
But it's kind of the revolutionary idea that one person, simply by changing himself from within, can affect change throughout the entire cosmos.
The entire cosmos. Yeah. Now, does that last forever? Is that ongoing, the way we consider the universe?
Well, if you consider that time is simply a construct of the mind, of the human intellect,
I can dig that. Okay.
Which tends to try to want to put things in compartments, in neat little packages of, okay, at 7:30 I got up and brushed my teeth. Sure.
We've boiled time into a schedule. And I have interesting views on it myself. I haven't read too much on, because it sounds very existential, and I'm all over that. I think it's a great thing. I think most humans would be well served to consider the rest, not just what's here. I tend to distinguish life and existence. What you speak of, the kind of the eternal within, kind of in my thinking, according to my thinking, kind of rings true with our own connection with existence. I separate life, to me, is the two of us just kicking it here in our meat sacks.
Yeah.
Existence is something that actually pervades the entirety of mankind, animal kind, any kind, all kinds. And I think that the reason it's such a privilege to be a meat sack on planet Earth is that it is the true moment, the tangible reality of. Now I realize it's all perception. This could be in my head. Your skin could really not be here. It's just it's something I perceive. Nonetheless, I see life as the touching down of existence on planet Earth, and it just happens to take the name.
Yeah.
Nice. So I feel good about it. Time is an interesting one that I've considered quite a bit too, because I've thought a lot about memory and memory's connection with imagination. If you think about it, from what I can tell from my own thoughts, memory, no matter how it shakes down or really breaks up, it's all just a matter of imagination. And without imagination, you lose memory. Imagination is anything that's not tangible. And I don't know, with time, I was talking to a kid the other day, and he was talking about waste of time. He actually went to school. He was at college, his college, and he was saying how he was pursuing, creative writing as a major, and he went to one of his family members who was a lawyer, a pretty successful lawyer, and he was like, dude, that's a waste of time, he told the kid. And the kid was pretty upset, blew it off eventually, but initially rather upset about that kind of branding. And I told him, time is time. You can't waste it. It is what it is. The way you mentioned is the human construct makes a ton of sense, and that's, I think, what we've boiled it down to. Nonetheless, if you take time out, eventuality still passes. So, in the absence of time, my question to you is, what do we have? Good tunes, huh? Yeah.
In the absence of time, what do we have? Well, I observed myself. I was instructed in this way of self-observance by a great friend of my mother's, who's a poet.
Nice.
This man is a poet, and but he taught me about how to watch my emotions and my thoughts. So I see myself going through all these mental and emotional sufferings within my. And anyway.
Well, I mean, like, how does that? Okay, so you're kind of you appreciate yourself within the concept and realities of evolution, right? Your meat sack develops along with.
Well, evolution is the game that infinite consciousness plays. It's the illusion that infinite consciousness creates.
In the name of progression.
Well, just to have something to do.
Okay, fair enough. Even that includes things that are automatic, right?
Well,
for instance, you were this tall, now you're much taller.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily automatic. The thing that gets us into a state of suffering is really when we it's like we have this illusion of separateness between. We become identified as infinite consciousness. We become identified with the physical body.
Sure.
And we see, the five senses. We become identified as only thing that's real is what I can see, taste, touch, hear. But if you get into like science and stuff, they talk about like the visible light spectrum is only a tiny fraction of the electromagnetic spectrum. So you got gamma rays and infrared, far infrared, all these other wavelengths.
So there's a ton that exists that we just can't perceive.
So there could be a being standing right there that I just can't perceive because I'm like,
right.
And we've all had glimpses of that more expanded state. And
absolutely.
So what I was saying before is like I was sitting here watching myself, just like I want to say something but I hesitate because I'm afraid of what somebody
would consider regarding what you said.
Yeah,
I was talking about that just the other day. I'm a sociology guy, and there's actually a term for that. It's called the looking glass self, and have you heard of this? Yeah, it's the idea of building upon whatever you perceive is his, her, or their perception of you.
Yeah,
and
it's a bunch of bullshit.
Well, it can be. It's a wild thing. The question is, how much do you subject yourself to your opinions of others' opinions? Is really what's being asked there.
That is why I'm all wound up inside myself. It's like
interesting.
It's like fight or flight constantly, just like in the background, kind of gnawing away.
So how so? I mean, how does that work out?
Like TV, the whole current society, and people are beginning to wake up more and more here and there.
I think so. We're getting pretty sophisticated.
Well, I think we're seeing through the illusion that everything has to be complicated.
Yeah.
And coming back to the simplicity of my own I amness. Everything else. I was reading a great book, The 3 Pillars of Zen.
Oh, I think I've heard of it, yeah.
And one of these cats that went to this retreat, he was a Japanese, like a businessman. He went to this Zen monastery for a retreat, and they make him sit there for hours and hours just sitting there. And he said he had this experience, they call it Satori, where you have this aha moment. And he said, God damn it, there is no such thing as objective reality.
Can't happen.
Yeah.
It's an impossibility.
Yeah.
Which I think is a beautiful thing. Some people see that as really imprisoning because they feel they're left on shaky ground. What's to know? What's to know?
Thank you.
Exactly. That's how I see it. I'm like, man, that is the sweet sauce. Like, that is the good stuff that makes everything worth eating. You know what I'm saying? It's Tabasco. You know what I'm saying? It's just a reality that makes life cool because it's really not up to anyone but him or herself, which I dig the hell out of, because I feel what you're saying, this kind of push-pull between what you want to be for the sake of yourself and what you want to be for the sake of others, and then there's this crazy gray area in between where you're like, you ultimately end up going, who the hell am I? You know what I'm saying?